This is WFYI News Now. It's April 9th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, funding is approved to redevelop the old City Hall in Indianapolis. A report shows that more than 80,000 Hoosiers will need new skills or credentials every year over the next decade to meet demand. And a House committee scales back a measure to eliminate DEI programs in state agencies and educational institutions.
DEI work identifies and removes those barriers so that merit, not motherhood, not mobility, determines success.
Those stories coming up, but first. The Indiana Department of Health confirmed Monday the first measles case in over a year. Measles is a highly contagious respiratory disease caused by a virus. The state says the risk to the public is low, but says a single case is considered an outbreak because of how easily it spreads. IDOH reports the case is an unvaccinated minor in Allen County who is stable and recovering. The agency says it's the first case since one was confirmed in Lake County in early 2024. Concern about measles has been growing nationally due to a large number of confirmed cases. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports more than 600 confirmed measles cases so far in 2025 across more than 20 states. IDOH says the measles vaccine, also known as the MMR vaccine, is very effective at creating immunity against the virus. Measles can cause cold-like symptoms, red eyes, tiny white spots inside the mouth, and rash. Health officials say people experiencing symptoms should stay home and call their provider before going to the doctor's office. Indianapolis City-County Councilors approved lending a private company the funds to redevelop the old City Hall and construct a new mixed-use building. The project includes a public art space, hotel, restaurant, and affordable housing. The more than $60 million loan would be issued through a bond that would go to TWG Development to help the company cover rising construction costs. With approval of this loan, Minority Leader Republican Councilor Michael Paul Hart says he would like to see the incentive used again to attract developers for other projects throughout the metropolitan area.
The Washington Square Mall is landmarked in my district, and I know everybody on this council has a massive landmark in their district that could probably use some attention of this nature, right?
Department of Metropolitan Development Director Megan Vukastich says this is possible because the building is owned by the city and has a private developer signed on to do the project. The council also unanimously approved an updated snow removal plan that will require DPW to plow residential streets when there are 4 or more inches of snow. The plan was proposed following a winter storm in January that left numerous residential streets unplowed. More than 80,000 Hoosiers will need new skills or credentials every year over the next decade to meet the demand for workers in the state. That's according to a report co-released by Ivy Tech Community College. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Tamoria Cunningham explains the report calls for more investment in non-degree credentials, licenses, and other career training programs like apprenticeships.
The report highlighted industries like advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and logistics. Nearly 70% of job openings in these sectors will require further training beyond a high school diploma. Molly Dodge is a senior vice president with Ivy Tech. Dodge says it's important for employers to communicate to training providers how jobs in their company are evolving.
They might be implementing new technology, robotics, offering a new product. And so in those ways, they're going to need Hoosiers who have a different set of skills.
The report calls on employers, workforce agencies, and state government to invest more in skills training that focuses on high-demand jobs, something lawmakers are working on this session. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Tamoria Cunningham.
And for our final story today, a House committee scaled back and refocused a controversial measure to eliminate DEI programs in state agencies and educational institutions. Instead of mandating the closure of programs, the bill now levies significant fines and outlines unlawful discrimination in education, employment, and licensing. Proponents of the bill say programs that encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion have unfairly limited opportunities. Critics say those programs help attract talent to address Indiana's many worker shortages. Jasmina Davis is a medical student at Indiana University's School of Medicine.
I matched the merits of places like Harvard, Yale, but I chose Indiana because I knew that I could receive the same high-quality education here in my state.
But Davis says the scaled-back measure still threatens the quality of her education in Indiana, especially compared to other states. Dr. Amy Bremen is an associate professor at IU's School of Medicine. She says DEI helps make sure that lactation rooms are available and workplaces are accessible for people who use wheelchairs.
DEI work identifies and removes those barriers so that merit, not motherhood, not mobility, determines success.
The committee passed the scaled-back legislation. It now goes to the full House. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.